Are you ready?
Baby, we done it. We're rich, baby. Conor McGregor made us rich. Break out the red panties. We're rich, baby.
I said, are you ready?
Swung on, line to deep left field. It is gone! You should see the celebration out of the Indians' third base dugout. Rajay Davis, a bullet.
Here we go.
For the We Like Sports podcast with the hosts you love, Riggs, Keith, Austin, and Peyton.
And welcome to the We Like Sports podcast once again with the hosts you love.
Riggs, Keith, Austin, and Peyton for the We Like Sports podcast, everybody.
I thought for a minute you forgot your own name.
No, not at
Yeah, I
all.
was going with you might have forgot it, but
It's on my underwear.
So we had our draft
Manscaped. We're gonna open with that right away.
I'm wearing the shirt. I was wearing the Manscaped underwear yesterday.
Hey, listen, before we start though, before you do anything, me and Peyton did a draft show, and I just want you to know that, dude, you can never leave the show. People were pissed you weren't here.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Dude, like, they were like, the show sucks, the others, it was bad. Like, you are the We Like Sports
No,
podcast.
I'm not, everybody. I've nothing without my friends. Continue to watch the show, even though when I'm not here, you know, a prior engagement showed up.
Listen, it was showed up.
Well, yeah, something
You
happened.
better switch that real quick.
Did you have to pay for that prior engagement?
Oh, hell no.
Manscaped.
Did you manscape? You did mention to me that you were gonna manscape.
Actually, no, I didn't even manscape, and it was all good.
That's
All
good.
right.
Yeah, that's after dark on the We Like Sports podcast. We'll get into that.
Patreon
everybody.
only on Mondays whenever we start doing that.
That's right.
One of these days.
So what do we got going?
Well, I mean, like you said, the draft. I mean, 2 out of the 4 of us were here.
Yeah.
Riggs was gone doing whatever. No, I'm not going to go with whoever. Austin was...
I was getting drunk. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, just based on the way the Browns have drafted in the past, I decided, you know what? I'm gonna have a few beers and I'm gonna watch this draft with no emotion whatsoever. And you know what? I was pretty happy with the draft, so I did get a little emotional.
But from Browns fan to a Browns fan, how did you feel that we did, honestly?
I think they filled a huge need on the offensive line.
Yes.
And that was just a great pick because, I mean, you could do anything with him. I mean, he's a right tackle, but he's got the feet to be able to move over to left tackle.
Yeah.
Or you could even put Jack Conklin over at left tackle because he did play left tackle in college.
Yeah.
And, you know, with the guy we got, he was, the blind side for Tua. And Tua's a lefty, so he spent all his years playing on the right side being the best lineman. So, I mean, we'll see if he can transition over to left tackle, but I'm very excited about the pick.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think that for the first time in a while, watching a draft by the Cleveland Browns, I wasn't upset. I wasn't angry. I wasn't cussing them out. I was like, good pick. Like, I'm so happy. I felt like I should have called the front office in Berea and like, hey, good stuff. Like, I'm coming over. We're having beers, pizza, hot dogs, and I'm shaking your hand. Well, fist bumping nowadays.
Fist bumping nowadays. I mean,
Corona bump.
Right?
Yep. C bumps.
Oh my god.
But for example, though, I mean, not only, like, we mentioned the offensive line, how the Browns revamped their offensive line as a whole, and that was due to, in fact, by a general manager that experienced his first draft and a baseball guy that recruited all his coaching staff pretty much.
Yeah.
So you have Kareem Hunt, you have Nick Chubb, you drafted an undrafted free agent that is another running back. You have an offensive line. If you are taking notice of teams like Tennessee Titans or San Francisco 49ers, all these teams that are running the ball, barely even passing it, how excited are you three as Browns fans for the fact that they actually have an offensive line and they could actually protect Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, and Kareem Hunt?
It's about time.
It's about time. It's smart. Like, I remember hearing a joke that I guess Bernie Kosar said that it's a hard time for him getting off his couch because his offensive lineman couldn't block for him. I even feel bad for Tim Couch if we've seen that he got drilled being our quarterback in the early days. So we have to keep that O-line strong. Like I'm so proud of the front office for that, honestly.
It's especially after last year. I mean, Baker spent a lot of time on his back, in the backfield. I mean, he was sacked. I think there was only like one or two other guys in the league that were sacked more times than Baker was last year. And you can't. I mean, it's gonna be nice because of this offensive line to have such a strong run game with. I mean, you got two of the top 5 running backs in the league on one squad, and it's going to be nice to see, the Browns get the ball and, just milk 7-8 minutes on one drive, just pounding the ball down the other team's throat. And it's going to be a nice change of scenery for sure.
We hope.
Would that be the first time that they actually, they have the decent running backs, they have the offensive line? Is this the closest the Browns can get to the time when they had Jamal Lewis and Jerome Harrison?
Oh, I think it's even better.
I think it's going to be better too. Truthfully, I think if you look at the plan that they have a plan. The Browns, for the first time in a long time, didn't have to spend $4 million on hype up videos. Now we just have to see, can they implement that plan? Do we have the right people in place now? On paper. Come on, it looks great. Yeah. I mean, it looks sexy on paper.
It does.
Absolutely. And I mean, if you're a Browns fan, you have to be looking forward to it. Not only do they have the revamped offensive line, but they actually ended up signing a 1-year deal with Rashard Higgins, which, fun fact, I looked this up beforehand too. He is the first wide receiver that the Browns have drafted. And that is the first wide receiver that has re-signed with the Browns after 24 wide receivers were drafted since 1999. He's the first one to re-sign. Odell didn't.
Absolutely wow.
Odell isn't purely a Brown. He wasn't drafted. Jarvis wasn't. We're looking at guys like Braylon Edwards, Corey Coleman.
Yeah.
You name it.
Massaquoi.
Who?
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that was one too.
Job.
Was it Jerome Bess? Remember him,
Brian
Bess?
Wabisky.
Yeah, him. Oh, Brian Wabisky. Wow.
What, 2-3 years and done? All of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have some guy that took a pay cut too to play with the Browns. 1 year, $90,000. And he was offered more elsewhere too. Odell Beckham Jr. in one game this year will make more than Rashard Higgins.
I mean, I just hope the best of luck to Rashard in his health. Hopefully, he can stay on the field as much as possible this year.
I think he'll be okay.
When he is on the field, he is Baker Mayfield's favorite target.
Yes, exactly. That's his number one receiver.
He loves throwing over to Rashard, and
that's
I'm gonna love seeing those. Hollywood Walk celebrations.
Exactly.
I don't get ahead of ourselves yet. We're still the Browns. We still got a lot of work to do, but the front office this year, we can't really bitch too much.
Oh, not at all.
We can't really be pissed off too much. Not yet.
And the thing is too is that you have guys that, like I mentioned, Rashard Higgins getting $900,000, not even $1 million, getting offered more elsewhere.
Yeah.
And he decided to come back to Cleveland because he cares. And I'm sure he's looking at it by now as a second chance. When Freddie Kitchens was coach, for whatever reason, you guys are Browns fans.
He was horrible.
He was the
doghouse.
He did not see the field
whatsoever. Why would you put your quarterback's favorite target in the doghouse and just not play him?
Well, you want to talk about Freddie Kitchens. I think we're
I
able.
don't want to talk about
No,
Freddie
but I think we're
Kitchens.
able to now go, listen, you want to talk about somebody faking it to make it?
Yeah.
He faked it through the whole season. He had no idea what the hell he was doing. He had everybody fooled.
Yeah, he had a Denny's menu for his playbook, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that was exactly like that.
I mean, it's asinine what Freddie Kitchen did, and we, as Browns fans, got on that hype train because we saw what he could do. We saw what what we thought he was doing, when in reality, it wasn't even close to what he was doing.
He could not handle the workload of a head coach.
No, not at all.
No, he couldn't.
I thought that Freddie Kitchens was sold on the town and the city. I think it was a preseason game where Freddie threw a challenge flag out and Baker got hyped and smacked him on the butt.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm like, if he is that hyped about that coach's decision for that one play, then this is our guy. That's a smart decision, but egg is on our face. Words are hard. But
do I have to smack your butt to just get you speaking?
Wow.
Wow, he liked that a little too much.
Yeah.
Everybody show your hands.
Hands check. But with the Browns, you have that 4-letter word that they don't have too often, and it's hope. And you drafted a wide receiver once again too. He's a Michigan product, but nonetheless, I mean, it was either that or KJ Hill.
He was a steal in the 7th round.
6th or 7th.
It was the last pick.
You're right.
He was an
You're
absolute
right.
steal.
Yeah.
Absolute steal.
Can we? Or can I? This is a curveball.
Is this going on the uniforms again?
No, a steal. J.K. Dobbins on the Baltimore Ravens.
That's gonna be rough. I'm not looking forward to that.
You got him and Lamar Jackson running the ball. Who you have to worry about so much right now.
Option plays.
Right.
That when I heard that, I said, "Wow!" Like that.
I was super ecstatic with the Browns draft all the way through. They had so much depth. And I think they added 2, day one starters on defense in the draft.
Yeah.
But there's no doubt about it. The Baltimore Ravens had the best draft of any team in the NFL.
Sleepers.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Yes.
You think that was
Sleepers.
absolutely.
Yes. He said that he wasn't even looking at the Cleveland Browns. He was more worried about what Belichick's doing.
That's crazy.
Yep.
And then as a Browns fan, that kind of hurts because it's like, yeah, you're really not competition, but I can understand where he's coming from.
Right. Absolutely.
And Andrew ended up saying, too, regarding Kitchens, he went, Kitchens only worked for me because of the name and the promotion with Baker.
Yeah.
Baker.
That's right.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and that's
so,
exactly right.
It was just wordplay, and for whatever reason, Clevelanders love wordplay.
Well, we do, because that's all we have.
Yeah,
That's all we have.
On the shores of Lake Erie, we don't have much.
Mistakes on the lakes, I mean, that's what we have. That's what we got to figure out.
For God's sakes, we have a coach that goes 0-16 and thinks the whole city will forgive him by jumping in the lake.
Oh, right.
Right?
I wanted him to jump off from the pier of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame instead of just running into the Edgewater Beach all flaily armed. Like, no, dude.
Yeah, and I was hoping he would have done it in like
slingshot.
mid-January, break through some ice,
It's me, it's me,
hopefully he
baby.
gets stuck
It's
under
me,
there.
baby.
Well, also, too, just to go with a throwback, too, at the same time, there was one point in time that the Browns coaches, they had Huey,
Yeah.
they had Dewey, or no, they had Louie, they didn't have Dewey.
Dewey.
So
Yeah.
you had Huey, Louie, and no Dewey, but he couldn't get fired, but the other two did.
Well, see, we didn't have a full DuckTales.
Yep.
We needed to go full on DuckTales. Disney needed that. That was the only thing that could have saved us was Disney magic.
So would
Still.
that make Jimmy Haslam Uncle Scrooge or
Absolutely, it makes him
Yeah.
Uncle Scrooge. We need to get. See, the only problem is that unlike the Dolans, Uncle Scrooge spend money, and the Dolans don't. So I don't know
Yeah.
what that makes the Dolans.
Jimmy
not
Haslam diving into his pit of gold.
His pit of
Right.
money, yeah,
The gold
His pit
coins.
of money. Exactly right.
And also, too, I mean, obviously going back to the draft, not necessarily Cleveland Browns news, but with the idea that the Green Bay Packers decided to draft a quarterback.
That pissed Rodgers off.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I
And not
know I'm
only
blind to that.
they drafted a quarterback. I want to say his name's Jordan Love, and he was a
Yes,
Utah
Jordan Love.
State guy,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And the goal going in was to build around Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean,
And they built
that's what-
behind him, technically. That's
No,
what they wanted.
Right.
I think they're building around the fact that they're not expecting Jordan Love to play a single snap until his second or third season. For sure.
But what is that?
And-
We talked about this before. What message does that send to Aaron Rodgers? We talked about that with Baker Mayfield. We all thought, whether we want to admit it or not, we all thought Cleveland was going to draft a quarterback. Okay, we didn't want it to happen, but we all thought that's what they normally do.
This year?
yeah,
But right, yeah.
Yeah.
But what if they would have? What would that have sent? A message. What message would that have sent to Baker Mayfield? What did it send to Aaron Rodgers?
well, I think
shape up or ship out.
but still, I still think Rodgers is one of the best in the game.
He
even
is.
to this
He is.
day, and I think he
Absolutely.
will be for the next 5 years. And I think that the Green Bay Packers over time have proven one thing and one thing only, and that's that they can produce and develop backup quarterbacks to be starters in the NFL.
Sure.
I mean, look what they did. I mean, yeah, they didn't get anything from him because he went on free agency, but if you can get something for Jordan Love in a couple years, you could get back kind of. I mean, what was that huge contract that Matt Flynn signed in
wow.
Seattle?
Yeah.
And he didn't even
Right, and he
start.
didn't start.
All because he had that
looked
learning.
he looked so good behind Aaron Rodgers and behind the Green Bay coaching staff that maybe they can develop Jordan Love into like a really good starting quarterback and try to get something in return for him.
But I think the point still needs to be made is that doesn't send a very good message
No.
to Rodgers. That doesn't say, hey, we're going to put the weapons you need. We're going to give you the defense you need. We're going to make sure that your success comes around what we have built. And then basically what they said was, Rodgers, good luck. We're going to do it again, because it happened last year. We're going to do it again. Good luck. Do what you got to do. The man's been asking for weapons. The man's been asking for protection, and he's not getting it. And he's one, and like you said, he is one of the best in the game today.
And not only just that, though, like, not only does it possibly, I don't even want to say it lights a fire underneath Aaron Rodgers because he doesn't need it.
Right.
But when a former Green Bay Packers quarterback like Brett Favre comes out and says, you know what, after that move, I don't think Aaron Rodgers finishes his career in Green Bay. When you have somebody that's experiencing that and somebody in Brett Favre that has gone in retirement, came out, if he wouldn't have gone into retirement and came out 13 million times, he would not have Aaron Rodgers starting. It would be him starting, and then Aaron Rodgers would have been going elsewhere.
He could have been a Cleveland Brown, to be truly honest.
We didn't draft him.
Who did we draft before him? What was it, Cameron Wembley?
Yeah, come on, we didn't take Rodgers. I mean, that you want to talk about him being a Cleveland Brown? He damn well could have been a Cleveland Brown.
You could play this game all day, though.
Absolutely.
You know which one hurts me? And I'm going to bring this up. Ray Lewis should have been a Cleveland Brown.
I bet
that. Oh my God.
Or what about drafting Gerard Warren instead of LaDainian Tomlinson?
Yeah,
there's one for you.
Now, how bad did now you see why when we're sitting there talking about the Cleveland Browns draft? Now you see we don't have just a heartache during the season. We have a heartache during the freaking draft.
That's why I said I'm sitting there with a cold beer in my hand and I'm watching with absolutely no emotion because
you can't have emotion.
And I mean, like, you could look over and over again, like, back when, if you didn't want Baker Mayfield, you could have still gotten Patrick Mahomes, too. Because he was taken afterwards.
Ooh.
Like, you could play this game all day long, and it's just going to piss off you Browns fans.
It is.
But it's literally a game that you could go from 1999, go forward, and see all the possibilities of who they could have had. Like I mentioned last week, Braylon Edwards. Who else could you have gotten besides Braylon Edwards? Just about anybody.
Just about anybody, yeah. I mean,
that was the number 3 pick.
It was a bad. I mean, that's what we're notoriously known for.
One of my favorite draft moments, and it's because it was such a terrible bust. But one of my absolute favorite. I'm watching it at a buddy's house, and watching it with his dad, and his dad's a huge Browns fan, gets emotional. And all of a sudden, Roger Goodell announces the pick, and all you hear is his dad go, "Who the hell is Justin Gilbert?"
Another mistake.
That was probably the worst one of them all, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely.
The dude didn't even like playing football.
Right. I mean,
he hated playing football.
As you're talking about Justin Gilbert, though, Justin Gilbert was a cornerback for the Browns. Now the Browns actually might have a sense of developing a system and familiarity because they have Greedy Williams, who was an LSU product. They drafted a safety in Grant Delpit, which is LSU, and an inside linebacker, Jacob Phillips. All of them played on the defensive side of LSU. You don't see that too often. No. You have the same idea. You know how cornerback plays with his linebacker and how the cornerback and safety could mesh because they all did in one point in time play together at some point.
Exactly. Which
is a rarity to actually see that the continuity there for the Browns is actually a possibility, and it's something to look forward to because if, for example, let's say all of us, we end up going our own happy, merry ways and you do your We Like Sports pod. You do the We Like Sports, I do the We Like Sports podcast, and Austin does Like Sports. We all have our different branches. We all go separate ways. You could get any co-host, but they don't know how to mesh as well as how we all do together as the We Like Sports podcast as a whole.
And time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go out and make a bold prediction right now. I'm telling you, Grant Delpit is going to be just as big of a steal as J.K. Dobbins was.
That is a bold prediction.
It's a very bold, but the dude is just built to be an NFL defensive back. I mean,
I could see that.
He's huge. He's athletic. I mean, his closing speed is just insane. I mean, we haven't seen a guy in our backfield with that type of athleticism in a very long time.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, also, while we're still on the topics of Browns and draftees and whatnot, you have your lineman and Jedrick Wills Jr., and Joe Thomas and him are already attempting to work together, and Jedrick ended up going to Joe Thomas and saying, "Here's my film, help me out. You were the left tackle for the Browns for 20 years almost.
Yeah.
I need your help, and I want your help because I want to make this team good. I'm hungry to win."
I condone the hell out of that. If I was Joe Thomas as a veteran, young man, come over to my house, or I'm going to your house. Yes, open book. I'm just going to feed him so much information, dude.
Well, he's all
And I
about
can
it
see
too.
that happening too.
Joe
And
Thomas is all about
loves
it.
the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
I mean, he
He was a lifer
bleeds-
for the Browns.
Absolutely.
He
And he's-
doesn't know anything else.
He doesn't. Yeah, I mean, you're right. He doesn't.
And, like-
and that's what happened. That's what we need, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I mean,
Right.
collectively, can we agree that? I mean, I know you're a mistake Steelers fan, but
No, I'm
when
just
you-
a mistake, man. Ask my mom.
Oh no, your mom's probably watching. You're a mistake, and I mean, granted.
Oh, look, a
Steelers-
text message.
Get that kid off there. All right, so, but if collectively we can agree that the Browns need that kind of mentorship, I feel like that's been missing.
Absolutely.
From the Browns for a long time.
You think
go
so?
back. I think go back to the Bernie Kosar days and stuff like that. Fast forward to here to now, and you're going. Don't you think that like, if I'm I'm a baseball player, right? The way to get a child better at baseball is to teach him, is to coach him.
Mm-hmm.
You got 15 of me in the back seats, the lifers, all having these get-togethers, all having these mentorships. Regardless, it's going to make him better. It's going to make him either a better player, or it's going to make him a better teammate with better chemistry.
So what you're getting at is I can see, what's one of our running backs at the moment? Just throw out a random name for me.
Chubb.
Nick Chubb talking to Ozzie Newsome or somebody.
Sure.
Jim Brown.
Or Jim Brown. Exactly.
That's a better example.
Exactly. That was the name that was
Yeah.
going in my head, but exactly.
Yeah,
like-
exactly. Don't you think, like, having Mayfield sit down and have dinner every single Thursday with or
Tom
Wednesday, I
Brady.
guess,
Just
with-
give a random quarterback
Sure.
that's a legacy, like that commercial. You have Tom Brady.
Yes.
And by the way, pardon the interruption, but my mom said, no, I was not a mistake. But anyways, as we continue. Shout out to my mom for giving birth to me. There we go. That's your shout out for the day. But
Oh, I feel like an ass.
Tyler, you got a picture of Peyton's mom you can put up on the board?
put MVP.
Oh my God!
Most
We're gonna have to
valuable
take a break
parent.
here, though. We got people coming up. Most valuable parent.
But like when
we broke him.
as we like just finish up the Browns topic though, Joe Thomas even told Jedrick Wills that like, hey man, like you want 73? I'll give it to you. You have my word that you could have 73. And he was like, you know what? I might think about that. And then new coach Kevin Stefanski goes, nah, man, we're not doing that.
No.
We're not doing that. Your legacy with the Cleveland as a whole,
Joe Thomas is going to be in the Ring of Honor very, very shortly. That number is going to be retired.
Yeah.
No.
but also the fact too that a new head coach comes in and says, "Hey man, you're not taking 73. This is a player
That's
that came
respect.
before." Exactly,
That's
it's
respect.
respect. It's respect, and it's an unknown respect in a way too, because he's
And
not
that-
familiar with Joe Thomas.
I mean, that's almost as bad as like when Ryan Garko took 25 after Tommy left.
after
You know,
Tommy
it's
left.
like,
that's
What
weird.
about when,
dude.
when Tito gave up his number?
17 for
17 for-
Yonder
for
Alonso, and now
Yolanda.
he's
Do you remember that?
77. And
Oh
just,
yeah,
Yeah, so I mean that's like, but
he's
you
still
have a-
77 too, I think, which
is.
is pretty stupid.
that is.
Or how did you feel about Larry Nance Sr. letting Junior wear his number?
That's a
See,
father and a
that's
son.
son. That's
different.
okay.
That's
That's like a, if I would be like, look, coach, I get it, but that's my kid. I'm
Yeah.
passing my number on. You know what I mean? Like that's just that's a cool ass thing to see. That's a cool thing to watch. That's what I think.
Well, no, wasn't Nance 22? I'm pretty sure Nance was 22 and Nance Jr. is 24, but he did wear his dad's jersey in the All-Star game for the dunk contest.
I know he wore his dad's number
right?
for
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like the fact as a whole with the whole entire. Hey, your girlfriend's watching.
Oh yeah.
Hi, honey.
Smart man.
But
Sick.
But like the last thing, hopefully for NFL, before we end up getting to our interview about the 8 o'clock hour, so please don't go anywhere.
Who's the interview with? Because this is like the best thing ever.
Well, you tell us about it.
I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. So we're going to be interviewing the producer and the creator, right? Just the director. I'm sorry, the director of 50 Summers. It's a documentary about baseball.
And it's not like 50 Shades of Grey by any means.
No, it's better.
Oh, okay.
50 Summers. It's about baseball.
Hell yeah.
So it's
Through
better than
50
all that kinky stuff.
It's baseball. It's all kinky.
Oh, that's definitely
Only thing getting hit is the ball,
all the leather.
That's right.
All the smacking of the leather.
That's
you know?
it.
the metal cleat stomping on the bag.
But
Oh,
it's
yeah.
about the Storm Chasers. It's a minor league
Fondling
baseball
the
team. The rosin. And so we're gonna have him on. He's gonna join us via Zoom, and we're gonna have. I watched the documentary. It was super awesome to see the people he had on there. To see the. I mean, if you haven't seen this documentary or you don't know, like, you know, for those out there who haven't haven't heard of it before, we're gonna play the trailer when we come back in. Once you watch the trailer,
There's a card for him
It's
because he
over.
booked that.
that's right.
Yeah, started off with one.
But yeah, right. But before we end up going to the interview, I want to hit the one NFL topic. It's a two-parter. It's regarding the Patriots and Bill Belichick. Belichick said that drafting a quarterback or not drafting a quarterback in the draft wasn't by design, and then Colin Cowherd decided to say,
I hate him.
everybody does. He decided
hates
to say,
himself.
yeah, have you seen him?
Yeah, you're right.
But he decided to say, thank you, Queen of Clubs. I almost said Queen of Spades.
Got deuces for that.
Hey, but anyways, though, Colin Cowherd decided to say that, you know what? I know what the Patriots are doing. And then he sent a picture of Trevor Lawrence in a Patriots jersey. I do not see the Patriots or Bill Belichick tanking to just get Trevor Lawrence. They don't have to tank. Bill Belichick's going to have a stroke if he tanks.
And I think the Patriots are, even without Tom Brady, they're still too good of an all-around team that they could still win 5-6 games with any average backup quarterback.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're just
100%,
such a well-run
100%.
organization. They're not going to be able to.
Fact.
Yeah.
He produces legends.
Right, like someone like out of
mean,
the
like,
ordinary.
Their
like,
backups are starting elsewhere.
Right. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I remember
Jimmy G.
watching Julian Edelman get drafted. I'm like, oh, okay, guy at Kent State. Boom, whatever. Look who Julian Edelman is at right now.
And he was drafted
Absolutely.
as a quarterback.
Right.
Yeah.
He was
fact.
a quarterback in college.
It's crazy to see that. And then also, too, the last topic regarding the Patriots, Cam Newton and the Patriots pushed Cam Newton aside and said, no thanks, we're good. We don't need Lamar Jackson Sr. I almost said junior, but he's older.
Right.
But anyways, though, we're going to end up having a break here really quick on the We Like Sports podcast. Don't go anywhere. As we come back, we have 50 Summers.
50 Summers.
Documentary. We're going to play that trailer when we come back, and we'll have the interview as well. Don't go anywhere. Don't turn that dial. Don't go anywhere. Don't turn that dial.
Down, turn the dial.
Need to spice up your website? Grab some attention on your Facebook page? Need an intro, outro for your YouTube channel? KM Voice will do it all. Pump up your profits and add some video advertising on your channel. Add some fire to your marketing campaign. Do you want to advertise on the radio and want a professional to handle your audio? Well, guess what? We do that too. From writing the script to producing the finished product, we take the pain out of advertising. Need to add voice to your company's training video? Yep, leave it to us. Send us a message on Facebook at KM Voice or give us a call at 440-213-2860. That's 440-213-2860. Production doesn't have to be a hassle. We give you the best because you deserve the best. Send us a message or call now.
All right, guys, welcome back to the We Like Sports podcast. This is like the best thing ever. So we're gonna play a quick trailer real quick, and then I'm gonna introduce the brains behind everything. It was just amazing. I can't believe we're talking to him. But as soon as we play the trailer, we'll come right back. So go ahead.
Dads bring their sons to the ballpark. It seems to me that that's where it all starts.
And everybody has a good time. I mean, who goes to a ballpark and doesn't have a good time?
So the history of minor league baseball naming pretty much goes back to the Civil War. It wasn't about two wacky team names. It was about the heart and soul of what it meant to be from Grand Rapids and the heart and soul of what it meant to be from Wheeling.
I was at Reading, Pennsylvania in 67 and 68. Bob, we're getting ready to field our first AAA team, and he said, would you consider coming down and being the general manager of the Royals?
You start with Kansas City. They were a remarkably well-run expansion franchise. From 71 on, that's when the farm system started kicking in.
Well, I started there in 1973 and got called up to the big leagues, I think, in maybe August.
The 70s, about the time Omaha would have got its franchise, probably fell back into a loyal fan base, but nothing like you see today.
Late 80s, early 90s is when you realize not everybody's coming to a game to watch baseball, but everybody's coming to have fun.
The face of the franchise isn't
Tom Brady, it's not a player. Oftentimes, it's a mascot.
The juice added to minor league baseball, you can really trace a lot of it back to when the movie Bull Durham came out.
But we're not in the baseball business. We're in the memory-making business.
Oh, I loved old Rosenblatt Stadium. There's some great memories there.
I think we always had a heart. I think the heart was Rosenblatt Stadium. I think we now have a soul.
Warner Park, it was unbelievably awesome, right? It was so much fun.
We went to the groundbreaking ceremony, stuck shovels in the ground, and I'm going, man, there's nothing out here. It kind of reminded you of Field of Dreams, all the cornfields around it, and sure enough, I go back 2 years later, you get 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 people in that, it's rocking.
What happens in minor league baseball in smaller communities is a pretty passionate love affair.
What makes me come back every year is our fans, our season ticket holders. They're really drives me to be in this business. I get emotional every time I talk about it. They truly are my family.
If you love your college, it's because you went there. If you love your pro team, it's because I love Peyton Manning. If you love a minor league team, it's simply because they're your team. The players, if they're really good, they're gone. Guess what? There might be a Kansas City Royal, but they're forever a Storm Chaser.
And we have Dan with us from 50 Summers. Like I said, it was a fantastic documentary. Dan, how are you doing today?
Doing well, guys. Thanks for the kind words. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, this is, when I got the message that you guys were like, hey, we wouldn't mind coming on the show, I think I ran to my producer. I don't even think I called him. I just ran to him. And then you guys let us actually watch it, and it was something that really hits home for me. I'm a diehard baseball fan, everything like that. Tell us a little bit about how you got started, and I mean, really give us the bones of this thing.
Yeah, man. So I'd be super into sitting here and taking like all the credit for it, but I can't do that because it's not real. The nexus of the film really came from our producer, Bill Hipsher, who couldn't be on with us today. I think Bill's traveling back from Utah right now. He grew up an Omaha guy. Was a lifelong Omaha guy. He grew up a Royals and Storm Chasers fan. And so the idea really came from him as the Storm Chasers were coming up on their 50th season. Our video production company, we're also, like I said, Bill's our producer. He also owns a media marketing and entertainment agency. And through that, had started to work with the Storm Chasers. And so really got to get an inside view and kind of started to see that, the minor league baseball story is really kind of undertold. It's really not out there as much. And especially, what makes the minors tick is really the fans and that relationship kind of between organization, fan base, community. Storm Chasers are in a unique spot with that 50 years relationship with the Royals. So we had just finished up another documentary, and I'm a lifelong baseball guy. I played in college poorly. I guess if we're on screen, I can show if that comes up. That was my elbow surgery that ended my esteemed D2 college career as a southpaw pitcher. But yeah, so I mean, it wasn't, of course, it was a pretty easy. Dan, I want us to make a minor league baseball documentary, and I'm like, dope, let's do this.
That's awesome.
Fantastic. So that started actually in 2017, right before the 2017 opening day is when we started, I think, our first discussions and pitch meetings. I know, we spoke with Marty Cordero, who's the GM of Omaha, and Gary Green, their owner. And I'm not really sure what their take was as far as they were super supportive and were super into it. I don't know if they really, were like, okay, you guys want to make, all right, let's kind of see how this goes. And that's kind of how the gestation got going. We were in principal photography on and off then from some bits and pieces in the summer of 17, really in the fall of 2017, kind of starting with winter meetings. shot up through opening day 2018, which of course was the 50th season of Omaha and Kansas City, their affiliation. And then shot up in the summertime a little bit more, had some pickup shots, went into post-production in August 1, I believe it was, and then had something to kind of screen for people at the production company and at the agency, the Storm Chasers in minor league baseball in like October 2018. So yeah, that's kind of the not really short summary, but that's kind of how we got.
That's when we were watching the documentary, there was a lot of stuff that obviously stuck out to me as a baseball player, a player, fan, whatever. But when we were, you said you played in college. That's awesome. But your documentary, what I witnessed, what I watched, meant it went beyond a movie. Anytime you have anything to do about baseball, it's going to be good, period. That's just how I feel. That's how diehard fans feel. But when I can get my son and my wife to sit down and watch a documentary about sports, you succeeded in something.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
And I feel, well, I was talking with a lot of people, and I feel that, if we can get them to watch this and feel it, they're going to fall in love with the game all over again.
That's what they need, too. People are just losing faith in the game, too.
Exactly.
And I mean, with the fact that you're able to actually have that love recreated again, that's what baseball needs.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it did. That documentary brought, whether you're on the fence about baseball or you're a diehard fan, it doesn't matter. It's going to put that love back in the game, the way you guys produce it, the way you guys got people involved with it. I saw the people you were interviewing there. I'm like, oh my God, just to be a fly on the wall during one of their interviews, I would have gave up, my second born. But it's like,
that's fair.
But I mean, it was absolutely amazing. How hard was it to get all those people to do these interviews?
Man, I mean, shockingly so. It wasn't that difficult. I think kind of to some of your guys' points, I think there are, especially a lot of people of that generation that are probably like I'm early 40s. We all look maybe kind of close into one another, but like the generation above us, I think there's a real desire to pass on that love for baseball and what it meant to them and their family and that going forward. And again, it's one of the great things about the minors. Like, look, I tell people, and I mean, some of this is present in the film. Look, if your definition and your standard of making like new people love baseball is you got to sit in a seat for 9 innings, you got to keep score, you got to learn how it goes. Like that, dude, that's just not happening. Like my daughter, who's a senior in high school, if you ask her, she's like, I love baseball. Oh, I love the Storm Chasers. We love going to games. Dude, we maybe watch like 7 outs in the seat before she's like, hey, like, let's walk around and like, but has an awesome experience and has a really cool, it makes a memory for her, and there's like a cool feeling to that. And I think minor league baseball has really, really, they get it. They have kind of dialed in on that. So based on that, people were really, really cool to participate. Now, obviously, we had a lot of credibility and a lot of help from Marty and Gary, supporting going to bat for us to minor league baseball to open those doors and open doors with the Royals and like all of those kind of process. So, those guys were super intricate, but like, I mean, dude, I think the craziest thing was like, so we got connected with like Jack McKeon by email. Yeah. He's like, we're like, dude, we'll come to your house, like this and that. He's like, oh no, I'll drive up to Durham. It's only, I think, like, 60 miles. I'm like, dude, he's like, are you sure? I'm like, sir, we will come to your house. He's like, no, I haven't been up to Durham for a while. We're like, oh man, okay.
Wow. Well, and that's something like to your point. Baseball fans, baseball players, whatever. We're a different breed of fans. You got, I don't care if it's minor league. I don't care if it's hot stove. I want to watch a ball game. There's something. I don't think if you're a baseball fan or you've been a baseball fan your whole life, there's 2 things in life you will never ever forget: catching your first foul ball or any ball, and then going to a game, your first game. Doesn't matter if it's in a minor league seat. Yep. Doesn't matter if it's the major league. It doesn't matter. But you will always cherish that first memory. You know what I mean? Always. And that's what your documentary, that's what that captures. It floods of emotion come back when you're sitting there talking to these people. And I'm like, oh my God, I can relate to this. Or look at, I'm from Cleveland. Who cares? I want that. I want to go to a game over there. Mm-hmm. And I think if that's what you were trying to capture, you did, you went above and beyond that. As a baseball fan, as a father, as a husband, as a true lover of the sports, watching that documentary, now getting a chance to talk to you about it, that's another memory we won't, I'll never be able to forget. I'll be able to show my son this and go, I used to freak out about the Indians all the time. I still do. I mean, I'm a Cleveland fan. That's all I do is get pissed off. So to have these kind of memories, like when when Davis smacked that home run in the World Series, we all went crazy.
Oh my goodness!
My son, I
remember exactly where I was when that happened too.
Exactly. And now I'll be able to share this with him. And I think, I thank you for making a documentary like that. I thank you for doing stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely, man. It's actually really cool. It's really rewarding to hear, you guys absolutely get it. And in the way that, that's really what we set out to do. And what I think our kind of hope is, and also as you get into the mechanics of making the film, so it's really hard. And I know, you guys are in Ohio. I mean, Dayton Dragons are an amazing organization. You can't make a film about 165 teams. That's too many subjects, right?
Right.
So, what our hope really, and we're getting that kind of feedback, is that through the vehicle of Omaha's story, obviously there's a bunch of things that are unique to it, but that it tells the broader minor league story. So if you're in Dayton, you can relate to that, or if you're down in El Paso, or and we're getting a lot of that feedback from people where people have been like, oh dude, we were talking to somebody the other day on one of our social channels, and they're like, hey, as soon as I watched this, I texted my girlfriend and I was like, hey, you have to have your uncle watch this movie, because he worked in Albuquerque for a little while at some point in the 80s and was like, this sounds like so many of the stories he's told. So that's really what we're trying to kind of capture with the film. It's cool to hear that apparently, it's kind of at least coming through for you guys anyways. I hope a lot of folks in the audience get the same feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? When I was watching it, there was parts where I'm sitting there watching it and I'm going, to be a part of this would have been amazing. To sit there and listen to the interviews or talk to the people that you were able to talk to. My son goes, well, what's your favorite part of the what's your favorite part? And yes, that's the only answer I could come up with was yes. Yes, that was all of it. Do you have a special moment when you were filming? Not to give anything away, I guess, or spoilers, but do you have anything that would really stuck out to you during the filming of this?
Oh man. so much stuff. Gosh, dude, yeah, that's to try. Oh man. I should have that one loaded up in the chamber. I mean,
got him.
The only thing is, I don't blame you.
Visiting with Jack McKeon was awesome, and a bunch of his stories were so incredible. Dude, this is one of the memories that stand out anyway. So, our art director on the film, the guy who did the illustrations, Max Riffner, also a massive baseball fan. Cubs fan, don't hate him, please.
Oh.
Dude.
I'm still a little disappointed, but I'll survive.
I'll be okay.
Okay, appreciate it. So Max comes to the shoot with me in North Carolina, and Jack's telling these stories, and thankfully, Max picks up on it. I didn't, because Jack's we're kicking back belts and belts this, and I'm like, did he mean to say beers or not? And Max is like, no, dude, that's kind of, old time speak for booze. He's talking about them being in the press box at Rosenblatt Stadium, and I was like, oh my god. I think another thing that stands out is so Jesse Cuevas's interview. Jesse is a really interesting guy. He's a total institution in Omaha baseball and in some other ways nationally. Jesse was the groundskeeper at Rosenblatt Stadium for years, from I think he started working there as a kid in the early 70s and was like the head groundskeeper by the time that it closed. So all of those college baseball players that went through it, that went through there over time, had crossed paths with him. And like, you know, watching him get like, and you see this in the film, watching him get choked up talking about the last night at Rosenblatt was pretty emotional, being on the other side of the camera.
Oh man, I couldn't imagine.
Hey Dan, my name's Austin. I'm a former college baseball player myself, and every kid's dream as being a baseball player growing up is to one day make it to Omaha to get to play at Rosenblatt Stadium. What are your thoughts on them building the new stadium?
I mean, you know, it's like you wish time can stand still, but it sort of can't, unfortunately. I think, and I hope that this comes across in the film, I think ultimately what you saw in Omaha is that the needs got different as the world of college athletics and athletics changed. The thing I will say as a fan, for our city and for Omaha, the College World Series is great. TD Ameritrade is an amazing park.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel the same, dude.
Yeah.
Right.
There's just something bizarrely awesome about parking your car in somebody's lawn and paying them $40 and then like going to the game. Like, that's what it was like at Rosenblatt.
That's awesome.
I totally understand though that, like, you know, that was just a chunk of time. And that was it for me. I mean, dude, I can still remember like my two most, so honestly, I haven't told the story very much. One of the first things that got me interested in like film and video production stuff, I believe it was the 1985 College World Series. I'm like 11. Miami won, and they cut the end highlight reels to a like Survivor song, like the band from Rocky. That was like, and I still just the highlight, and even being like, because like I did grow up in the Midwest. I grew up in Denver, and so like making films, it's like, who does that? Like people in LA. But you're like, oh, working in video production, I can maybe see that happen. And just that process of like, whoa, they took highlights that were just in the finals, and like now we're watching this like loop. That was like one of the first things that kind of got me like, you know, interested in video production as it ties into sports. And like, yeah, those memories, I mean, dude, we wanted to get to Rosenblatt so bad. Like my senior year of high school was the year of like Rudy Rodriguez and like Long Beach State, which was the dirt bags. Their hats were purposefully all full of garbage, just muddy. They wore their socks, and like our uniforms happened to be black and silver. So we literally tried to replicate, like look just like them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, those time periods at College World Series was amazing. I know it's a great experience still for the kids who are able to get there. Omaha does support it like no other. But yeah, it just was a moment in time. I wish I was much better and about 5 years older, and I could have really maybe been playing in that sweet spot.
Right.
I'm curious, bro. Where'd you go to school? What level of ball did you play?
I actually went to Cleveland State, and they canceled the baseball program my first year, and I ended up transferring to a junior college around here, and I ended up tearing my deltoid, so couldn't really do much after that.
For sure.
So I mean, we were talking about not to jump backwards, I guess, but we were talking about to me, anyways. And listen, professional ball is professional ball. I love it. I love the Indians. I'm a diehard Cleveland fan. But when you go into a minor league stadium, at least this is for me, and I kind of got that from the documentary too. When you go into a minor league stadium, you're watching people play for the love of the game instead of for a $50 million contract. I mean, obviously they're playing for the hopes to get that, but you're actually watching players play for the love of a child's game. That's what it is, and we're all kids at heart when we're playing baseball. Yeah. But when you look at that, and you walk into a minor league stadium, that I think everybody should take their kid first to a minor league ball game so they can see what the love of the game is.
Show how hungry the humble beginnings of the game.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Right. Dude, I couldn't agree with that last statement more. I think what it reminds me of is like, and so I'm a big music person also. I guess this is still kind of present. Obviously that landscape has changed, but it's like it's like seeing a band on the way up in the club, in the small, not the stadium yet, but in that kind of like, and there's something really romantic about that momentum. And even like that access to them, there's some of those similarities of like, oh wow, you're working your own merch booth. Wow. In the same way that like in Omaha, I mean, the runways, like there's almost no way like a kid who wants an autograph probably can't get one.
Right.
Where when you go to like a major league, just because of the scale of it, not because of those guys,
right?
But it's just not realistic for that to happen. It's just so accessible. Oh yeah, man. I 100% think too that like a minor league, and also like I grew up in a minor league town. Denver didn't get the Rockies until '92, so we had the Denver Bears, which were a Montreal Expos affiliate, which was my first game, which I remember at Mile High Stadium, which was enormous. And it was like Tim Raines, Andre Dawson, Tim Wallach, all coming through there.
Wow.
So yeah, man, I think the humble beginning aspects are really, really important. I think it's also something that the majors, if you really think about it, is like, I know at least in Omaha, a lot of those fans feel so vested in those guys on the Royals roster because they came through there. They feel that real connection. And that's another great, interesting thing, a great thing about Kansas City, because of its market. It's not necessarily a free agent builder. So that might be different with some different teams, but like there is a real sense, like there's so much Omaha pride for the Royals, I think, because of that tie-in of really seeing so many of those guys go up.
Exactly. And,
right.
We were talking off air, like, how much the documentary meant to me and stuff like that. When this whole thing was being brought together, and it was just an idea, a brain baby, if you will. When that whole thing was being brought together, and you started watching this unfold, and you said, you were a part of this, and watching, how everything was going to come together. What kind of what was going through your mind during all this, during the closing part of it, during the we're wrapping up, and this is gonna be a legitimate documentary. You guys have won so many awards for this, for God's sakes. What was going through your mind?
Just mainly just to get it done. So it was an interesting dynamic. This is like I've been fortunate enough. I've done about a dozen and a half. So this is like my 16th or 17th documentary, by far the biggest scale, biggest opportunity. But like our producer, like Bill, I think this is technically only the second or third film under Hurrdat Films, and only the first one that he's produced on. So I think there was a lot of people that were really nervous about how this was going to go. But it just, so for me, the biggest challenge was like, we set out and we're like, all right, we want to weave three storylines together. There's the Omaha story. There's the greater minor league baseball story, and there's like a peek inside the game day staff. And those are the three things that we really wanted to try to tell, and kind of like, okay, how can we weave them together? Do we weave them together in enough balance? And then hopefully hopefully you don't turn up the power too much on one of them and down too low on the other one. But once we got, I think the other thing I was the most nervous about is, should have mentioned him earlier. JJ Cooper from Baseball America absolutely is gold in this film. Like, he's our glue guy, and we didn't have him until after opening day, and almost got him like, I don't want to, like, accident isn't correct, but like, so anytime you build it. Yeah, dude. So like anytime you build a documentary, you have whatever you call him, like your historical figure, or you call him your glue guy, like somebody that, can really be the authority on this stuff. And we kept looking and trying to figure out some different spots. And Gary Green just offhanded after opening day, after we shot opening day 2018 and wrapped, we were going to North Carolina in like 9 days. And he was like, oh, that's awesome. He's like, you're probably going to go see JJ while you're down there, right? And I'm like, yeah, of course we are. It's like, oh, I was like, I didn't realize that main Baseball America office is down in Durham.
Wow.
So we put that together, and he was like, because we went down to go shoot some stuff with the Durham Bulls. And he was like, "Oh yeah, of course, come by," and was like, just genius, dude. We talked to him for like 4 hours.
Oh.
Like his interview was probably the longest, and
That's
just
awesome.
as like a lexicon of baseball information. Like he knows baseball so well. Like I told him a story. Like I played against Roy Halladay in high school. I was like 3 or 4 years older than him, but like JJ goes, "Oh, cool." He goes to like the warehouse and pulls out like the first Baseball America issue that Halladay appeared in when he got drafted and went into the like.
Wow.
And he probably found it in like 5 minutes. And like didn't go to the computer. He just like went to the shelf and like and just sort of pulled it out from there. So yeah, that was the toughest part was weaving those three things together, and probably the last thing to really come together was how we integrated the game day staff. That was so, folks. I mean, you guys can obviously see how that worked in the film and how we kind of put that in there, because we did think that, of course, was a really important element of the film too, is to kind of show them building into this. Ultimately culminating with the kind of opening pitch. And we kind of knew offhand. We didn't totally know how we were going to open the film, but we knew that we wanted it. I think this was even honestly Bill's, in the original treatment, was like, I want it to end with the first pitch of the 50th season. That's what I'm seeing. He's like, you are in charge of getting me everywhere else to that point, but like this is the scene that I kind of see in my head. So that was kind of that kind of journey through that.
Well, I can tell you that I can tell you this, that you're talking all those three things you said you were trying to pull in, and amazing. I mean, you tied them in amazingly. It couldn't have done it. Nobody could have did this better. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Again, I don't know. This is the first time we've met, so I'm not like I haven't known you for years, but I'm telling you, you did fantastic with this documentary. You pulled on heartstrings, and you don't have to be from Oklahoma or wherever, anywhere, to know that this story needs to be told, especially during all this crap that needs to be told. And this is just one more thing for us baseball fans to hold on to. And I can't, I appreciate it. I think that's where baseball fans come from. I appreciate the art that you produced in this documentary, and I think we all do.
Yeah, it's for the love of the game and the love of the sport. Seriously,
and you'll always have we like sports, or what is it?
Yeah,
we
that's
like
right.
sports podcast.
He always messes it up.
I always mess it up. We like sports podcast. You always have us in your corners and in your corner.
Awesome.
We are just so happy you came on and gave us the time.
Appreciate that, man. Thanks for having us on.
Oh, dude, it's been great. It's been great talking to you and Chris, and it's been fantastic. Real quick before we let you go, where can we buy this at? I mean, I got it off iTunes. My producer bought it off iTunes. Maybe we're looking for brownie points. I don't know, but where can they find it?
So it's available right now. It's available through. We've got an awesome. We've got a really great distribution partner, Gravitas Ventures. They've been fantastic. It's available through like iTunes, Amazon Prime, Google Play, also a handful of other streaming service like that, where you can VOD like Vudu, and then also a handful of cable outlets. It should be on their video on demand.
Okay.
iTunes and Amazon Prime are probably the two easiest places that people are finding it right now.
Okay, cool. Well, man, thanks for coming on, and we're gonna help. We'll tweet it out, make sure that everybody knows where they can get this, and we'll Facebook it out there. And
absolutely,
again, I can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your day to come and talk with us. It was amazing.
Hopefully, we see you locally then too. If there's any time that you have, we could see you locally. I mean, Dayton's about like 3 hours away, but we'd be willing to travel. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to go to a game at the Jake. That'd be badass. They still
Yes.
Speaking of the Jake.
That's right. You called me the Jake, so now you're my favorite person.
What's it called now?
That's right. Hopefully we'll be able to stay in touch with you, man, if you don't mind. And some kind of partnership sometime.
Very cool.
Thanks, brother. You have a good one, and thank you so much.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love the Motorhead shirt, by the way. Thanks, guys.
What a treat that was. That's
Yeah, that was
awesome.
great.
I'm
That
telling
was-
you,
that
that
was
was probably the funnest thing.
Yeah,
and I'm telling you, as a baseball fan, it doesn't get any better than what I watched and I mean, it was amazing.
And I mean, to like, this was something I wanted to say, but like, he was just spewing out information that like I didn't want to interrupt, but like when like I mentioned last week, like the Lake County Captains, which that's closer than Dayton, obviously, but like the amount of experiences, like me personally, like I covered the captains from. Like I mentioned last week, Aaron Savali's like one of his first starts in Single A. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. against him. I got to interview Logan Ice one-on-one, and I was in that pamphlet for like the monthly like pamphlet interviews, like players' stories, and like. Yeah, he's a Single A catcher, but like you better believe that I was sweating bullets because like I'm like tripping over my words, and he was like, "Dude, like it's all good." Like, and I'm like, "Why are you such a genuine human being? You're not a like I'm starstruck for you." And like I don't even like I want to say like he doesn't have like the best route, and like injuries like plagued him, and like he's not in the MLB, and I don't even know if he made it up to AA, and things happen. But like he was such a genuine dude, and like I got a backstory, typed it all up, sent it in, and like. I think I still have like the program too of my interview, and like it's him in there, Juan Hillman, and like another player, and like from me being in like the website aspect for the blog / website I was working for to see my name there, it's like this is weird because like I never got to like I didn't think this would happen, and then get to go to the routes of like Omaha when I was in broadcasting school. We had to do like a backpacking project, which is relatable to pretty much filming. Right. So you have to film it, edit it, do it all by yourself. And I interviewed one of my instructors. Well, he was a catcher, I believe. Anyways, he played minor league ball for the Royals and the Cardinals.
There it is.
So like, he was just giving out all this information. And during the interview, too, he also taught me what a slump buster was, too.
There it was, yeah.
Smart.
So, like,
Sometimes you need that.
Right. And he was like, he told me about that in the interview. He goes, I just said that. He goes, I don't know if you'll be able to interview it. I don't even know if they'll know what that means. It doesn't matter. And I'm like, this is such a genuine time. Like, it was such a cool experience. It's like, that's baseball. That's something I did not think would happen. And, like, minor leagues are not. It's still, like, part of the game that you love.
And it's like growing up as a kid. I mean, my dad, he would take me, 7-8 Indians games a year. You know, maybe here or there we'd go to a minor league game. Yeah. But my absolute favorite summer of baseball was we went to about 10 Akron Arrows games, and the reason we went to there, who was playing? Grady Sizemore. And man, we went and we saw Grady play about 10 times, and it was just being in that small little 7,000 person stadium, seeing guys who are gonna make it someday, and it's just for the love of the game, and it's just
really
so beautiful.
is.
And I mean, one more comment really quick to wrap up pretty much the whole entire minor league whole, like even the opportunity to do camera work too, like. Three of us know like the AIW wrestling promotion, and like we know how it is, and you're somewhat familiar, but you're not around all the time. Sure. But like seeing like when I was doing camera work, like fans that were there and they're recognizing me and they're like, "Hey man, how's it going?" It's like, "Oh wow, that's really weird that I would see you here." Right. And it's like you're running around in between innings, and it's like all the people that were working there too, that were all pretty much college interns. Like I had so many friendships at the time. That, like, I remember, like, I was, 19, 20, and I ended up, like, going out to, like, a dinner with the one girl, like, after the season when my time was done. And I'm like, this is such a weird friendship. And, like, you have passion for baseball. I have passion for baseball. You might not even care, but that's how we met. Like, it's just all weird and, like, full circle at the end of the day. But go on with what you were saying.
That's the thing. We were all, you said it earlier, like, the chemistry that we have at this show.
Cameras don't lie,
is
right.
amazing. And I came out of I just messaged him because I saw something that was on his Facebook page. So that's how I became part of this. But through knowing you guys, it's been awesome. And now think about I think probably the nervousness I've ever seen in my life or have shown in my life is when Zach Plesac was on there. Because I'm thinking, I'm talking to Zach Plesac, the dude that, he just got done starting for the Indians. Yep. We're sitting there talking to somebody who's not only in the show, but he's like...
But his uncle is, too.
But his uncle's like, we're talking to royalty people.
Yeah, second gen.
And came into my Diamond Dynasty game, too, Dan Plesac.
See, that's what I'm saying, though. Think of what we've accomplished.
It's so weird.
Exactly.
And, like you mentioned too, like the chemistry, like we all just click together slowly. Like for the longest time, like, Austin couldn't come around because of work or this
Right.
whole entire virus situation, or
Yeah.
else you would miss it, or else Riggs would be stuck reading off the sponsorships or
That's right.
whatever it may be. But, like, we're just clicking all together, and, like, it just seems that, like, the nerves, like, it's more so not to brag about ourselves, but, like, when we have a phone interview, it's like we introduce ourselves. Like, oh, hey, this is Keith from the We Like Sports
Right,
podcast.
right.
Here's my name. Here's what I represent. Here's my question.
Exactly.
And it's more professional. It's like when we had our old co-host, it was like we didn't have the ability to have all these all together like interviews. Ask Riggs, like he was around for that. The first all together interview we had was when like you were around when we
Yeah.
had the phone lines. Because it's like I'm gonna start booking talent because I'm not going after Google Voice and hearing the phone static.
Exactly.
And I still have those connections and like. It's just amazing to see how well we grew and how we're able to build this and see the chemistry and like
And
all the
people-
love of like the sports all together too at the same
Exactly.
time. And that's
Right.
like as long as we're showing that at the end of the day, and I guess like we could wrap it up with this before we go to our next break. And we have another interview too, by the way, don't we?
Yeah, we have another guy coming on. His name is Brian O'Hare. Telling you right now, you don't want to miss this interview
Not at all.
because there is stuff we're going to talk about. It's gonna get deep. It's gonna get emotional. But I'm telling you, you don't want to miss it because there's a story to be told here, and I want the story told because I mean it's for the love of sports, but it's also for the
Absolutely.
love of our service members and military men and women around the world.
Exactly. No story falls on deaf ears here at the We Like Sports podcast.
Absolutely. And like I was saying though, like all together we're all in it for the love of sports. We're clicking now. And like it's just a great feeling to see that like anywhere it could go, no matter what interviews. Like if you asked me like 2 months ago when spring training was going on, if we had the ability to talk to Zach Plesac,
Exactly.
when it would technically be a baseball game that would be going on if this wasn't happening.
Oh yeah,
it's like this is so surreal, but it's so awesome. But
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's like it's just like kind of bragging about just
okay.
us as a whole, which is okay. And for
Yeah.
everybody at home, we're sorry for bragging and we're annoying.
I mean, we
but
got
it's whatever.
we got more chemistry than the periodic table. So I mean,
Okay, well, Austin's
equals
on.
MC square.
that's math, dude.
Oh, well,
And I went to Cleveland schools.
we'll be back on the We Like Sports podcast after this break. Don't
Need to spice up your website? Grab some attention on your Facebook page? Need an intro outro for your YouTube channel? KM Voice will do it all. Pump up your profits and add some video advertising on your channel. Add some fire to your marketing campaign. Do you want to advertise on the radio and want a professional to handle your audio? Well, guess what? We do that too. From writing the script to producing the finished product, we take the pain out of advertising. Need to add voice to your company's training video? Yep, leave it to us. Send us a message on Facebook at KM Voice or give us a call at 440-213-2860. That's 440-213-2860. Production doesn't have to be a hassle. We give you the best because you deserve the best. Send us a message or call now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back on the We Like Sports podcast. Before we get to our interview with Brian O'Hare, we're going to end up going and taking a quick moment talking about Jersey Crate. If you're looking for that new NBA jersey, maybe an NFL jersey, maybe Jedrick Wills Jr., the newest Cleveland Brown, they could actually take any custom requests whatsoever. So that means baseball, football, basketball. If you just go to jerseycrate.com or else go to their Twitter page, jersey_crate, and you get 10% off for using the promo code SPORTSWITHAZ, you get a nice looking jersey. I mean, how does that sound? Baker Mayfield customized jersey? Whatsoever. I mean, J.K. Dobbins, whoever it may be, check it out. JerseyCrate.com. SportsTheZ is the code for 10% off. And Riggs has a message for you from Manscaping. Riggs is not in the shot, though.
Are you listening to today's podcast stuck inside your house with your significant other? I want you to pay close attention to today's sponsor. Manscaped can help you out and make the most of your time together. Manscaped promotes clean hygiene when it comes to shaving your balls. It's time to quarantine, Manscaped, and chill. Your balls will thank you for it later.
And if I want to use that Lawnmower 3.0, what's the promo code I should be using? It's Sports with a Z, right? For 20% off.
Sports with the Z with 20% off and free shipping. SPORTZ at the We Like Sports podcast. Manscaped. Your balls, your lady will thank you later.
There we go. All right, Riggs, way to go.
You did. Good job.
All right, Keith, take it away once again, I guess.
So there's we have a special guest today, and there's a couple reasons why we have him on. Brian O'Hare.
Hello.
He is
Hello.
I'm a Freemason, so let the conspiracy theorists go.
Oh, here we go.
He's a brother as well. Our producer is a Freemason, so you guys are screwed. But
does that mean I'm gonna die?
Possibly.
Probably not, though.
I'm scared again. This happens all the time, by the way.
It does. But there's a reason I wanted to bring you on, and it's you're a big sports guy.
I am.
You're actually training to be a fighter now.
Correct.
You're going to be MMA fighting.
Correct.
But there's something that goes a little bit deeper, and I want to hear your story. I think everybody needs to hear your story. Whoops. For the first time, I think, ever on this show, we're going to get kind of emotional, deep for a minute.
I mean, I guess.
You know what? I forgot the tissue upstairs, but if I have to cry, I'll cry.
We'll just do it.
Yours or Austin's, either or.
So, for one, tell us a little bit about yourself. But there's a bigger reason. You served for our country.
Correct.
And I think there's a little bit of a deeper meaning behind why you're fighting. I think there's a deeper meaning behind who you are as a person, and basically the next steps you're going to be taking in your professional career when it comes to fighting. So, give us a backstory and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Right. So I got out of the Army in 2013, and really didn't have a mission anymore, right? You go from spending 10 years in the military to being a civilian, and you kind of look for something, right? And I couldn't find it. And there were a lot of mistakes. There was a lot of destructive behavior, self-destructive behavior involved. And I didn't have an outlet.
Sure.
I turned to art, and that gave me enough to get stuff off my head. But I ended up dating this girl, and I met Chris Cox at Hooligans Boxing and MMA.
Okay.
And it started off where I wanted to get back into shape, you know what I mean? And what happened was the connection there at Hooligans. It's not a big gym, right? It's a boxing club.
Yeah.
More than it is, it's not your typical Planet Fitness, if you will. Right?
Okay.
We go in there, it's a CrossFit style workout. We train in judo, jiu-jitsu, boxing, all of it. And with that came the ability to work a lot of my anxiety out and go home exhausted. And right now I'm going to school to become a clinical research psychologist.
Okay.
So what I started to notice was that I was able to start working through my PTSD after physically exhausting myself. Meaning I was able to then work on triggers, right? This bothered me. Now I'm able to really say, okay, how can I work on this to better myself? And with that came understanding that I really enjoyed it sounds weird. I enjoyed getting hit in the mouth. Right? Coach Chris, he constantly tells me to keep my hands up, but there's nothing like the adrenaline rush that comes from a firefight. And unless you've been in that, well, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Right?
Right.
But it's that feeling of I could die now and not knowing, right, that you live through. And while we were in Afghanistan, there were a lot of those moments. I was in Afghanistan from 2011 to 2012, and I was in the Kunar Valley. And to give you guys an idea, I was 4 miles from the Pakistan border.
Okay.
And on top of that, I wasn't very far from where bin Laden was killed. Right? Like, I was there in Afghanistan when it went down. And life turned to hell. But getting into Hooligans, it gave me that family again. It gave me that brotherhood. But also, it allows me to share my story with other people that also deal with anxiety, some PTSD. We have people there that are, recovering from this, that, and the other. And that family-like environment that you don't think you would have at a boxing club is exactly what was created and what happens there regularly, right? So it's almost like therapy. And I'm kind of using this as almost as a thesis for myself to say, okay, can we take somebody that has had traumatic incidents and place them in an environment that gives them the ability to kind of control what goes on, right? So now you're empowering somebody to combat that, that trauma, if you will.
The demons.
Yeah, and to work through it after that. So that's, and then I found out that I was really good at it, or at least not bad for 37. I'll take it.
Right.
And kind of go from there.
So we haven't really talked a lot of mixed martial arts on this show.
But we got Austin here, and he's a trained professional wrestler, the WWE type stuff.
That's cute.
And then,
cute. I'm just kidding.
But you should come to Hooligans. Let's do this.
There you go. So as you're, I boxed for a long time. Okay. I was a boxer. I don't look like it, I guess now, but
not really.
I was.
He's looking kind of small.
You ain't gonna be able to take me down in the up game. I'll tell you that. You got to get me to the ground to beat me. But
look, there's a gym that I know. Hooligans, we can go. We can do this.
Just watch me smoke 2 packs of cigarettes.
That's cool. We do this.
So when you're training for the MMA part of it, something I didn't do. I wasn't. I felt I wasn't flexible enough at the time. I felt I didn't have the probably discipline, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That you need when you're training for this and you're going through this. You got. Just like I had. You had to make weight. You have to figure that stuff out. Yeah. How much does your military training, your military experience, play into your A, determination, B, your training regimen, and C, the almost known outcome of what's going to happen from all of those put together?
Well, okay, so when it comes to the determination and stuff like that, yeah, definitely does, because it's getting from here to there, right? And how am I going to do that? Well, this is the third time I've attempted to cut down. So I started off at 225. Okay. Right? I'm cutting to 155.
Holy.
Yeah.
That's a big drop.
Yeah, it is. And
I'd swear completely, but I'm trying not to. I'm trying to be PG here, but my God.
And I'm at 195 right now.
Okay, so you're on track?
Yeah, I'm on track. And that's been about a month. So it's difficult. It's not easy. And let's be honest here. Making weight is not something you can train to do. You can either do it or you can't.
I mean,
and
with like high school wrestling, I remember seeing kids borderline starving themselves. Or else lunchtime they're not eating and they're wearing 13 layers of clothing just to run around the cafeteria to cut weight and cut that water weight off.
For me, there isn't a fight already scheduled, right? There's not one.
Right.
Right now, we are working a healthy manner to get to 155 and then find a fight, right?
So that's the weight class you're obviously gaining for. You're
Right.
actually trying to get into 155.
Correct. And that's because in Ohio, they have this class. It's called the Masters Division, right? And it's for anybody over 35.
Mm-hmm.
So 155 gives me the best chance to find a fight in general, whether it's a couple pounds up into the welterweight or a couple pounds low.
Right.
So I'm at the top end of the lightweight, low end of the welterweight area. So I can find more fights that way. But it's difficult. Like, it's chicken and vegetables.
Oh, yeah. It's all protein and vitamins.
Yeah,
I mean,
so,
that's what you're eating.
and this is the first time I've done this. I have no clue how to do it. I have a great team. Coach Cox he's incredible. I can't speak enough kind words. And it's not just the training that he provides.
Sure.
Right? It is that family environment. You know, like, everybody there has each other's back. Everybody wants to see everyone succeed.
Yeah.
Right? We have young women that come in and have been in abusive relationships. We have young women that come in and want to be fighters, right? We've got a couple of girls there now that are they're going to be dangerous.
Right.
You know, and then there's a couple of guys that want to fight, and they have been such an amazing help to me. Not just in training, but in life in general. And they're all from around here, you know, from the Lorain County area. So it's nice. As far as discipline with training, right now it's really, with this quarantine going on, has been how do I want to put it? It's been a test, right? Like, you don't have the gym to go to now.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
We don't have that. You have it at home.
Yeah.
Now,
and you don't have nearly the same equipment. I mean, Riggs and I know that best. We've been trying to make way with working out, and it's not nearly the same when you have all the equipment on hand. I completely understand
and
that.
What's nice is Chris gave me a medicine ball. He gave me a heavy bag, right? And I've been able to take that home and train with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'm able to do stuff like that. But, like, that speaks to the loyalty that I have from the gym. And, you know, if you have that loyalty from the trainer, then it shows that, hey, I believe in you. And with that comes the determination.
Sure.
Right? Not wanting to not wanting to fail, right? It's a mission now. Is kind of how I look at it.
And I'm telling you right now, that makes you a dangerous person inside that octagon. It makes you a dangerous person when it comes to being able to say, you know, listen, I've been in the contact sports. I know exactly what is going through someone's mind. It's I need to crap talk as much as I can. The problem is that people like you got to watch out for. The people who are determined, who want it, who feel it, who need it. And the reason it makes you so dangerous, and probably someone that is going to be the non-crap talker, is because you're going to lay it out in the ring. There's no reason to do that.
Right.
So when you get down to it and you start breaking down your daily regimens, you start breaking down your the mastermind of how you're going to fight and your style of fighting, and what your major accomplishments are going to be inside that octagon. I think that through your military experience, through what you're going through in a daily life, we don't know that. I don't know that. I don't have PTSD, so I can't really fully understand it.
Right.
But you coming on and saying, this is what is done, this is how I'm doing it, opens up doors for people who love sports, like sports, but don't really get to understand why most people do this kind of stuff. Why, you say you like getting hit in the face, kind of so did I. But that's kind of a big thing, a big step, is this is why it's happening.
Right. Well, you know, again, with fighting, there's a special breed of person, right?
Yeah.
There's the
Right.
person that gets into the ring and says, I want to fight. And then they get punched in the mouth. And like Mike Tyson says, you have a game plan until you get punched in the mouth, and then it goes out the window, right?
Right.
And then there's the person that gets punched in the mouth and bites his mouthpiece down a little bit, tucks his chin, and walks forward.
Right.
Right. And I think that is kind of what the military has brought into this for me.
Sure.
It's a lot like chess. And I know people say the sweet science and all that for boxing and stuff, but like it really is a chess match. It's knowing your opponent. It's doing your research. It's training your fight and how you fight and your skills, and then making sure that you stay to that plan.
Yeah.
Right? And making your opponent fight your fight. Easier said than done.
Sure.
But I think that's something that the military definitely helped me with, or will help me with. The PTSD aspect of it, I can't really speak for many people because everybody's PTSD symptoms are different, right?
Mhm.
It's not
cut and
one.
dry.
Yeah, exactly. It varies case to case.
Sure.
I think that it helps in the fact that I almost have like a live or die mentality.
Sure.
Right? Now, again, in a controlled environment like the Octagon, all things considered, let's hope no one dies.
Right.
Right? But it is that reaction. It's the training and training and training and training and training. That's what we did in the Army, was you train so much that when combat happens, it's natural. So.
What happened?
Your phone sucks.
We still live?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Just carry on.
Good.
We'll just go with it, and then
So, you know, it comes down to that. It's your training, right? And the ability to really function in your game plan and in the team that you have behind you. So
let me ask you this then. As you move forward,
yes,
as you continue to train, as you continue to do all of the things you would normally do for, you know, if you were at the gym, if you were pounding the pavement right now, do you think that, I mean, I guess we could take it back to movies, Rocky, you know, when he would train out and, you know, when I boxed, I didn't spend a lot of time in the gym. I spent a lot of time doing natural boxing
Pounding the pavement,
pounding the pavement,
yeah.
running that. What do you feel works
let me
best
talk
for
about
you?
pounding the pavement, because Coach, I get a text message every morning, and it's like, "Have you run your 6 miles yet?" And it's
can't even run 2 miles, let alone one.
You know,
6.
I couldn't run 6. I couldn't run 2 before this, anyways. And I'm like, man, I don't want to. And then I do, because you know, he's given so much time to me that in order to do this, you really have to do it, you know, or else you're letting down your family. That's what it comes down to, is you know, and no one's gonna let their family down. So that's a team. And
plus, you've even mentioned the fact too that like he's given you, I could understand where you're coming from, because you mentioned the fact that like he's given you equipment.
Yeah.
So like he's made the investment in you essentially. So why won't you invest your time
in myself,
in yourself, and prove it to your coach
absolutely.
as well? Yeah,
Absolutely.
I get that.
And I mean, not only is he a trainer, but he's kind of my biggest fan. You know, like he gives that, and it's not just me. He gives that to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that investment that comes with becoming a hooligan, right? And it's an incredible feeling, because you don't get that anywhere. Like we talked about Freemasonry, right? It's the same thing, right? We take an oath, and we're brothers for life,
right?
Well, kind of the same, right? Like he's invested in me with training, and I'm gonna give my all to him and everybody else in that gym, because it's not just me I represent,
right?
You know, it's the gym.
That's
So.
awesome. I mean, that
absolutely.
You know, and so tell people where they can find you at. I mean, it's your personal Facebook page.
So
you want to give out.
my Facebook page, you can find me there, Brian O'Hare. But then please take a look at Hooligans Boxing and MMA on Facebook and Instagram. And then also I'm going to be working with one of my soldiers from Hawaii. Started a clothing line called Conquer by Force. And I'm going to be a brand ambassador for him. So he's got a Facebook and Instagram and a Twitter, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's a veteran-owned company.
Beautiful.
His clothes are just awesome.
Beautiful.
So,
Beautiful. Yeah, tell them to hit us up and we'll make some kind of commercials and stuff for them at some point. I think they're going to be coming on board with a lot more stuff with us.
Absolutely.
Here.
That's what it sounds like.
Which is going to be pretty fun. So, I mean, it was great having you on, man.
Thank you very much for having me, guys.
Absolutely.
Your story's amazing, and we're going to follow you. So, I mean, as you fight, we fight. We're going to be in your corner with you.
Awesome.
So you take a step, we take a step.
That's right, man.
Whether you like it or not.
Sounds awesome coming
Absolutely.
up, man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So let's take a quick break, and then we'll be right back. Sound good?
All right. Yeah, sounds about right. Quick break.
Need to spice up your website? Grab some attention on your Facebook page? Need an intro outro for your YouTube channel? KM Voice will do it all. Pump up your profits and add some video advertising on your channel. Add some fire to your marketing campaign. Do you want to advertise on the radio and want a professional to handle your audio? Well, guess what? We do that too. From writing the script to producing the finished product, we take the pain out of advertising. Need to add voice to your company's training video? Yep, leave it to us. Send us a message on Facebook at KM Voice or give us a call at 440-213-2860. That's 440-213-2860. Production doesn't have to be a hassle. We give you the best because you deserve the best. Send us a message or call now.
And we're back on the We Like Sports podcast once again. Stay tuned with us until 9:40. Gives us about 30 minutes or so. Why not? Why not go a little bit over? We're not on any affiliated radio station, so why not? Keith, read the sponsors for us.
Sponsors. I don't have them.
Exactly. All right. All right.
You're making our producer die over here. I'm going to start just KM Voice.
There you go.
There you go. Sponsors.
I don't have a script. KM Voice. If you want any of your production work done, let us know. We
Manscaped.
give you the best because you deserve the best.
Wow. You didn't even break. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Anyways, NBA. Phil Jackson did acid.
I knew it. I knew it. They call Phil Jackson the Zen Master for a reason. And I remember Robert Horry, when he played for him for the Lakers, he used to say that in Phil's office, he had these incense that smelled of the Cheech and Chong variety.
The grass.
That's pot, not acid.
Well, no, because I'm saying, well, since he did acid and he came out with, in the documentary and said it, if he had incense that smelled like marijuana, then if you did acid, then there's somewhere, down the road
it's a gateway drug.
Exactly. But I wasn't
That's another show.
Wait, I wasn't trying to get in. No, marijuana, but I wasn't trying to get into that at this moment. But yeah, like Phil Jackson, they call him the Zen Master. It helped him out. If you can see his first interview when they announced him as the Chicago Bulls head coach, his eyes were all over the place. Like he was excited or coming down or what.
They're both excitedly coming down.
Well, yeah, the Warriors were actually after him.
Yeah.
I mean, like, think about it. Yeah, of course. The Raptors, they were there.
Yeah. He said he was on a beach in California rowing like a lion on acid.
He was on
He didn't get the job 2 years earlier with the Chicago Bulls because he dressed too dirty, like a hippie and all that. So he could have had that job, and Jordan could have been a winner a little bit earlier of his career. Phil Jackson was just like, you know what? I just got off a binger doing God knows what.
So wait, you're telling me that Phil Jackson and Lamar Odom are essentially the same person?
No.
Because Lamar Odom had brothels and whatnot.
Wow.
Yeah, Yeah. He almost died. He almost was not with
From
us
a
no more.
brothel?
Yeah.
What kind of sex was he having?
He was with the Kardashian, bro.
Yeah.
So gay sex.
But like they call Phil Jackson the Zen Master. In the Bulls documentary, it looked weird seeing him slam doors and kick stuff. It's like you're supposed to be so calm, so cool, so collective, but at the end of the day, if you got a guy like Michael Jordan and his ego on your team, then you might get mad and throw some stuff. Even
You
Dennis
don't like
Rodman.
Michael Jordan after that documentary.
No, I like him. I can agree with Michael Jordan to an extent because I'm all business when it comes to certain things, and I don't play or I don't joke around because I want to get this stuff done. I almost cussed, but like I can agree.
You're the
with,
Michael
like,
Jordan of this show.
No, I mean no. I it's like when I'm
he's black.
It's like when I'm working out in the gym. It's like I'm in the gym. It's like okay, I really don't want to joke around. I will to pass time, but I don't go in the gym and be like, curl, hey, what's going on? It's like, no, let's get this done. I want to look at my form. Okay, you got that done. Okay, cool. Hell yeah, you're getting bigger. You're getting stronger. I see that. Cool. Second we leave those gates, I'm hitting him, I'm punching him, vice versa.
Side note about Riggs' working out. You know how Planet Fitness has like the grunt alarms and whatnot?
Oh, that goes off all the time.
Oh no, with Riggs, you've seen it before when we've done podcasts before and it's uncensored and he's just swearing. He's just going, MFer, I effing hate you. And like he's just like nobody who has headphones in thinks he's a madman probably.
Riggs, we have to sit down and talk. You have to work some things out, bro. We're here for you. We just got done talking about how much family we are.
He literally starts laughing mid-set and he's trying to like push up the weights and he just goes, not gonna laugh.
Yeah. Straight business.
And then he just starts like, if I break, like my goal when I work out with Riggs now is just to break him mid-set because like he just stops and he's like, or else he gets really mad and he's like on like number 10 out of 12 reps and he's like, now I have to start over again. It's like, dude, why don't you just do 2 more and then call that a set?
Poor Riggs.
But man, that was just a little personal side about Riggs and working out. So
I'm not working out with him.
It's actually really entertaining. But anyways, though, Riggs, you've been the one watching the Last Dance documentary. I have all 4 episodes recorded on my DVR, which, by the way, my old roommate didn't have. But so I couldn't have done that. He also forgot to give me a happy birthday wish. But yeah, whatever. Anyways, Michael Jordan and Dennis Rodman. So you watched it. Dennis Rodman got sent to Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm. For 2 days because he needed time to relax and because Scottie Pippen was gone for 25 games from an injury, so he had to be Michael's number 2. All that stress and that popularity got to him, so now Scottie's back. Okay, I'm the third wheel, I'm the odd man out. I need 48 hours in Las Vegas with Carmen Electra. And that's exactly what happened.
Figure out what size dress he wore so she could wear the same one.
And then Michael Jordan said he walked into the bedroom and he saw some things that he's not going to talk about that was left in that bedroom. And they had to get his butt out of bed.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Well,
high heels.
Or some type of toys. Who knows? But
bondage.
Yeah, it
our next sponsor.
Do you like S&M? No.
But Ambiance, the store for lovers.
But the Bulls documentary, episodes 3 and 4 were great so far. I believe the next 2 episodes are going to go into the 92 Dream Team and then maybe the 92 championship that they took from the Portland Trail Blazers in about I think they won it in 6 games, to be truly honest. John Paxson, he's from Ohio. That guy, he came off the bench for the Chicago Bulls as a point guard. Really good guy. I just had no clue he was from Northeast Ohio. We produce so many great athletes and or coaches that come from the state, and it just blows my mind. Like Sean McVay.
Mike Vrabel.
Exactly.
Tim Couch.
The list can go on and on.
Brady Quinn.
When it comes to producing homegrown talent, but that's hearsay.
But, I mean, Riggs, you even mentioned it to me, too. We were driving in the car doing, I don't even remember where we were going. We could have been going to Keats, wherever, maybe working out. But you mentioned the fact that the Cavs were the favorites in 1989 against the Bulls.
And that's that's crazy. Yeah, they said that the media had Cleveland to win because Jordan said in the documentary, back then you played everyone in your division 6 times. And the Cavs beat them 6 times.
Wow, really?
And yet, so that's crazy to think, like, because I was born around this time, but I wasn't watching, sports. I didn't know who Craig Elo was.
Yeah, you were
Mark
dunking
Price.
on your little tykes.
Exactly. Hell yeah, Tonka trucks. But they don't make them like they used to. They're not metal anymore. We got sensitive and soft in this world. But like the Cavs were favorite. My uncle and I have friends till this day that just seeing Jordan hit the shot over Elo, it's burned in their memory till the day they die. Like they never liked Jordan ever since. Same with my one uncle, Steve, who does not even like John Elway because of what happened in 1986. I'm probably going to get a phone call for that a little bit later on.
But, like, random fact, though, before we put a bow on this whole entire Jordan documentary until next week, fun really odd factoid though too. My mom has always been like a Bulls fan because she was like a huge fan in the 90s and whatnot. She actually, I mean, as you guys know, like Michael Jordan's dad got murdered and whatnot.
Yeah.
She actually met Michael Jordan's dad, sat right next to him like 2 days before he got murdered.
Was she
Damn, where we're at?
No, she wasn't. But like she got to like downtown. Like it was like she met him downtown, I think. I don't remember where he got murdered at, but like I'm assuming like some like crappy area in Chicago. I'd have to look that up. But like she
Some
actually
crappy area in
was
Chicago.
And that's a lot of places,
I was
though, I
gonna
guess.
say that- so Chicago.
But like she got to see like Jordan's ring because like Jordan gave like his dad his rings to wear when he was playing.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's like, yeah, check out my son, and that's my ring finger, by the way, too. I'm not flipping off the camera. But like
that's crazy.
And then, like, just a random fact, like, just knowing that, like, my mom is, like, an absolute Bulls fan. It's like, I don't get it. Like, you were on the side of the shot that won, and, like, you're okay with that, but, like, you also don't care about sports, but, like, you got to have the moments that not everybody gets to have.
There's certain moments in sports, whether you're a fan or not, that you'll love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Period. I mean, that's just how it is. You can hate sports. You can hate the thought of sports. You can think sports is this, sports is that. And Cleveland won a championship. It didn't matter if you like sports or not. If you were in Cleveland, you love sports. You love the Cavs. I'm not a big basketball fan.
Right.
But at the time,
I think my favorite personal experience with meeting a former NBA player. My mom took me as like the Home and Garden show or something like that at the IX Center.
I just hate that for that window company I worked for, but
they had Austin Carr there, right?
Oh, nice.
And got to go up and meet Austin Carr. And my mom's getting ready to take a picture, and she just I'm just standing there all awkward like this, and she's like, "Austin, will you get in the picture? Austin, get closer." Austin, will you get closer? And Austin Carr just goes, "Damn, woman, how much closer you want me to get to him?"
I can hear it in his voice.
That's a bar story.
It was so funny.
That was funny.
man, that's hilarious.
on a like, I know it's probably off subject. Was Fred McLeod there? Rest in peace. Was he there?
No. This is the. I think we had the old guy who was the one before McLeod.
Was it Joe Tate?
Yeah.
No, Joe Tate was
He
the
was
radio
radio,
guy.
right?
Red Guy, Michael Red Guy.
That's
who it was.
that game.
Michael
that name
Red,
sounds
it was
familiar.
around that time when Michael Red Guy was the announcer.
Yeah, but my mom even chipped in too, and so that she either I'm not assuming he got shot at Richfield Coliseum, but the game was played at Richfield Coliseum back then too.
Yeah.
But I guess we're not talking about deaths to like wrap up the show. How about the fact that MLB has came out, said that opening day is realistically going to be mid-June or July 4th. Just let that resonate for a second. And also, Yasiel Puig thought that the 2020 season wouldn't happen, and all of a sudden, like within the last week, he's super close to signing with the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah.
If you have a negative attitude towards the season not happening and you're taking the money now, don't you think that baseball is almost right around the corner, whether it be with and I'm very lost on the aspect though, because like right now I think they want to see if Yankee Stadium, and formerly known as Shea Stadium, I know Met Stadium isn't called Shea Stadium anymore, but like all those stadiums in New York that's gone with the epicenter of this pandemic, like you could end up possibly having like you down in seat 10 and I'll be in seat 2 and we'll be however separated apart just to actually watch baseball. I mean, it's right around the corner.
Yeah, now that's the thing I was thinking about.
I don't care. I'd do it just to watch the game. I don't care if I have to...
no one's gonna listen.
Yeah, like some people wearing masks inside of like stores and whatnot.
Yeah,
they just don't listen.
I'm not doing that.
If they decide to bring back MLB, but they say, okay, it's our opening day, but not a sellout crowd. We want 300 people in these seats. You know what I'm saying? Just an average number, just to bring down and flatten the curve, is what they say. Would you be okay with watching a professional game?
Yes.
With,
I just want baseball.
Yes, but here's the problem with that.
I said positive note. It keeps going on this high
because
horse.
It's stupid. We're from Cleveland, damn it. If you're telling me that if someone doesn't roast a grand slam, all of a sudden that 6 foot distance don't mean shit, as we're all sorry, as we're all sitting there hugging each other, it doesn't mean anything. Like, do it, yeah, we'll do it. We'll stay 6 feet apart. Damn it, we've been doing a show like this. I'm literally sitting on his lap, and I haven't gotten sick or coughed. So I did. What the hell?
That was a fake cough.
That was a fake one.
Oh.
But
Anyways, just to calm me down really quick, the divisions, there's going to be 3 of them. They're pretty much combining in the East, the West, and the Central. The NL Central and the AL Central are combining into one, so you're facing Atlanta, Milwaukee, St. Louis, Chicago Cubs, the Reds, and then the usual AL Central opponents for the Indians.
Yeah.
Then the East, you have Orioles, Boston, Pittsburgh, Miami, New York, Mets, New York Yankees, the Phillies, the Rays, the Blue Jays, and the Washington Nationals. And then in the West, you have the Athletics, the San Francisco Giants, the Anaheim Angels, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the San Diego Padres. That's 5 teams in California right there in the same division.
Right. Wow.
Arizona Diamondbacks, Colorado Rockies, Texas Rangers, Houston Astros, and the Seattle Mariners for the West Division. So, I mean, we could be talking about baseball here shortly, but hopefully we end up cross our fingers. Maybe we could sit on each other's laps and watch a ball game.
That's right. I'll do it.
We can be the guys from Major League.
Yes. The thing is
these are yes.
The thing is wow. Like, look, we just want sports back. If this is what it's gonna take, okay, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you right now, to not have a sellout crowd, people want to see this. People want to go to a game. People
Absolutely.
want that. And if this is what is going to be the main focus to get it back, then okay, so be it. But I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of pissed off people because we're homers, we're Cleveland boys, and we don't care. You know what I mean? If you see Lindor crack a grand slam, you see Ramirez crack a grand slam, especially...
If I just see a regular home run, I'm gonna get excited.
I'll be cool with seeing the first pitch.
First pitch,
it can drizzle after that. I'm cool. Like, all right, nice.
And I think that what they're trying to do is good. I think them trying to bring it back is a positive.
I'm just thinking about like setting the scene here before, and this is the final thought of the day. Imagine baseball being played July 4th. You have home game for the Indians, July 4th. I mean, baseball's probably... I want to say it's the most patriotic sport just because it's the only sport that's played on July 4th.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So not only are you talking about your independence of America, but you're also talking about your independence of the virus in baseball.
Right.
And you have a fireworks show afterwards too.
Right.
That's the ultimate setting to actually have baseball back.
Dog Night too.
What?
With what you're saying, throw a $Dog Night.
Oh, hell yeah.
I thought we were going to keep our social distancing. You throw a $Dog Night in there with fireworks, ain't no one going to be holding...
And dollar beers, just throw those in too.
We're going to be holding hands, singing Kumbaya.
Here we go, guys.
That's right, like, just like that.
Don't touch me.
And we'll catch you next week on the We Like Sports Podcast every Wednesday, 7:30 to 9:30. And also catch the replay on YouTube. Leave us a thumbs up. Riggs can't because he doesn't have disposable thumbs. Subscribe, please. Whatever. Catch our replay of the podcast, too, as well on Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, and Anchor. That'll be 9 a.m. Thursday morning. And the YouTube replay as well. We'll catch you next week on the We Like Sports Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.